Yeah, I think we've all been there where we said something stupid. I could think of a time or two, but it is what it is. Things you got to move on, I guess. But
I mean,
Yeah.
before you
Well,
send somebody a message, though, you gotta like think about what you're saying first. You
yeah,
know, you gotta
right.
take a step back and be like, all right, like
Right. And make sure
Some-
you're plucking the mote out of your own eye before you start trying to pluck it out of someone else's, you know.
Some-
yeah, especially if you're stealing titles from other people.
during my,
I mean, don't go
Toyon
saying you're stealing the title.
Right? Like you're accusing me and you're doing
Yeah.
the exact same thing, you know?
Yeah,
during my toy hunt video the other day, someone was like, "You're leaving all the good stuff." I'm like, "What am I supposed to buy it all?" Like, I'm not gonna buy stuff I don't collect. Like, what?
yeah.
No.
Just because you like it doesn't mean
Yeah,
I.
like I was just like, did you think about that one before you said it? Like,
Yeah, that's a good point. I get stuff like that too, and I'm just like, what do you think? Like I am like a millionaire? Like I can just buy everything? Yeah, I can work on a budget. You know what I mean?
When I was doing that, when I was doing the toy hunts, people would say to me, "Oh, you left all the Marvel Legends." I don't fucking know what they are. I don't
But
even
then-
buy them.
But then you know
Right.
what? If you were to buy them and be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna pick these up so I can sell them," then they'd be bitching because you're buying them not for yourself. It's like,
right.
what do you want? Like, you pick one. Like,
Well,
to leave for an actual collector that actually wants them, or you want me to buy them and hide them from them?
right.
I don't get it.
Well, you guys probably saw recently I purchased that USS Flag.
Yep, I was gonna
and
bring
all
that
that
up.
stuff, right?
Yeah, let's rub
so-
that one in a little bit. Come on.
Yeah, so just real quick for everybody who's not, familiar with it. So, a couple summers ago, I had a guy who was a subscriber of the channel reach out and say, "Hey, I've got a bunch of my childhood collection. I saw you live locally. Would you be interested in buying some?" So I ended up buying a Castle Grayskull and a Snake Mountain off of him, and ended up buying a GI Joe Sky Striker off him as well for like $60. Got the Castle Grayskull for 100, got the Snake Mountain for 60. So he gave me some really good deals. But then I, lost touch with him. And back towards the end of December, I guess it was, he reached out again and said, "Hey, man." Now, when I went to go get the stuff the first time, the Castle Grayskull and stuff, like, he told me, he goes, "I got a US Defiant at the house. I've got a USS Flag. I've got a Cobra Terradrome." And I knew I couldn't afford any of that, to buy any of that stuff. So I didn't even like bother making an offer on it. I just knew I couldn't do it. And I told him, I was like, if I hear of anybody looking for something, I'll send them your way, So long story short, back in December, he reaches out and says, "Hey man, I still have all that stuff. And like, if you want it," he goes, I literally just want to get rid of it. Like, I don't care about making any money on it. I know it's worth a lot of money, but I will give you an incredible deal. So he goes, maybe we can go out to breakfast on Saturday. So I said, "Yeah, let's do that." So we went out to breakfast and we're sitting at breakfast and he's like, "Hey man, like if you want all that stuff, $500. I was like, "Are you serious?" And he was like, "Yeah, dude, you can have it for $500." He goes, "I don't care if you, resell it or keep it, whatever. Like, I just want it gone." So I was like, "Oh, sweet." So we went over to his house and then, he pulls it all out and shows it to me and stuff like that. And I did a video on it. And then he like pulls out like a couple of bins that have like all his Masters of the Universe from when he was a kid, his GI Joes and all this, Silverhawks, bunch of stuff. And then I said, "Is this for sale too?" And he was like, "Yeah, if you want it." I said, "How about 700 for everything?" He said, "Yeah, sounds good, man." We shook on it. More than how he was like, more than how he was like, "Dude, like I know you'll take care of it, and I know that like you'll find a good home for it if you decide to sell it." So anyway, long story short, I bought it and then I did the video on it, dude. And like this guy comes on the other day and he goes, again, calling me a scumbag. He goes, "You're a real scumbag, man." He goes, "You totally stole that from that
Same guy?
Different guy." And he goes, "Scumbag seems to be the word they like to use,
I think
So
that,
he's like, "You
that one
stole
digs
that."
deep for some
Right?
reason. I don't know why.
So he's like, "You stole that from him, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, well, I said, if you'd watched the original video, like in the video, he says like, $500 and then I offered him 700 for everything. And I said, he said like he wasn't looking to get rich off of it. And he goes, "That doesn't matter. You should have did the right thing and paid up on it and gave him what it was worth." And I was like, but if he's giving me a gift out of the kindness of his heart like that, like it would be disrespectful for me to like shun that gift on him. You know, like I don't, no. So anyway, long story short, that's how my view of it is. Anyway, you know, maybe a little.
Well, I
biased,
mean, who's
but-
gonna go in there and say no? Let me give you 1,400.
Yeah, no, dude, let me give you.
In
Like,
this economy, dude, no
yeah,
way.
he was just like, and he was like cool with it, man. Like he didn't care. He was like, I just want it gone. I don't want it in my garage anymore.
Yeah, he wanted the space. He was looking for space. Yeah.
But I mean, that's just how things work, though. You know, like
I know.
jealousy.
It's not like it's not like I tricked him, and that's
Right.
what the guy was getting at. That like I tricked him somehow into like only selling it for $700.
That's just straight up jealousy, and like that. You're
Yeah.
telling me that dude, if he didn't run into a deal, he wouldn't take a deal. Like, come on, dude.
I
He's the
know.
first
People
one
are
getting the
just
damn
so-
deal.
Yeah, and that's what my wife said. She goes, you know, he's just jealous is what it boils down to, that he didn't get a deal like that. You
He's
know?
just a troll trying to get his name out there, probably.
Yeah,
But
right.
you know what else? Like, what are you supposed to do? Go into Goodwill and something's marked $5 and say, "Hey, Goodwill, I've got to give you 200
Right.
Yeah, this is
instead of
true.
selling
Yeah.
this myself because I feel bad." No, that's the fucking price they put on it. Too bad,
Right?
you know.
Exactly.
And he wanted space in his garage. It looked like.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. He wanted more to get the space out. Plus, like
Mhm.
his I mean, he didn't say any of this or anything like that, but his mom passed away like 2 years ago, and all his stuff was in the garage, and his dad went in and cleaned it out, and like, you know, I'm sure there were like maybe even like memories, kind of like, you know, where, hey, I just want it out of here, you know.
Yeah, right.
And you know, he never said that. That's just, you know, and that might not be the case at all. But like, I think, you know, at the end of the day, he just didn't want it, and he didn't care about making any money. If he cared, like, he would have sold that Sky Striker to me for like $200.
Mhm.
You know, now I'll check this out, by the way. Let me grab this over here. So it is complete. I do have like the parachutes for him, but this is how. Look, this was sitting in his shed for like
Yeah.
30 years, and you can see it's still got all the dirt and grime on it. I've had this for a year and a half and haven't cleaned it yet.
It's better dirty.
But right, yeah, I actually kind of like it like that. Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, I mean, if he was like, hey man, I want to get top dollar for my stuff, you know, like he would have sold it for top day because he knew what that stuff was worth. But
Well, like,
No.
like Dre is saying, part of the problem is, you know, people criticize what they see and not what the actual situation is. Like, dude, and that's just like that's across the line for everything nowadays. Like, people just make up their own like scenario in their head, and they try to argue it. I just,
Yeah.
Collecting Havoc says, I haven't been called a scumbag yet. It must still be in the minor leagues.
Keep working on it. I'm sure.
Keep making videos, man. It'll happen.
I can go into your videos and call you that if you like for a mere $20 or whatever.
Good
I
shot.
can be a troll if I'm
and,
bald.
you know, when it comes to like this used stuff, just because like majority of people are charging, you know, 10 grand for something doesn't mean that so and so needs to charge 10 grand for something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't.
Right?
That's not what world does he live in?
Mhm.
I know, right? Well, that's like the guy that I ended up selling. So I sold the Defiant and I sold the Flag, and then like it was actually like a sell and a partial trade. So like the guy I sold it to, like my Grail goals for the year, which I got to set some new goals now, but was to get a Kraken, a Clash of the Titans Kraken from 1980, which I've got it right back here. You guys want to see it real quick?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, let me grab it here real quick. So I got
I mean, very few people have space to display that flag
look
anyway.
at this thing,
So-
dude.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah, that's
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, so he ended up going to a place in Minnesota, or actually in Michigan, called Sargent Reds. I think they actually have a YouTube channel,
Mhm.
Oh, really?
and that's where he ended up buying this.
That was pretty fresh and minty too.
So
Is
it was $900. So,
Yeah.
and then I also got the Shogun Godzilla.
nice?
So what I ended up doing was,
Oh, that's
the
one with the
guy I
lever in the
sold-
back of the head.
yeah, dude,
Yeah,
it even has,
yeah,
like, the
I remember
lever.
that.
Yeah, dude. So what we did is he ended up paying about $500 in cash,
Mhm.
and then did those pieces. So the Shogun was, I think, 600. So it was like 1,500. So it was like $2,000 total is kind of what it, plus he paid the shipping on it. It was $350 to ship the Flag. I'm still trying to figure out the Defiant because it's like so big, and like I'm gonna get it shipped to him sometime here in the next couple of weeks, but we're trying to figure out the logistics of it. But long story short, that flag alone like goes for like $2,000, $2,500.
Oh,
You know what I mean? So like I gave him a good deal on it.
Right.
So he got the Defiant, and I got to make his dreams come true as well. So like, you know, Patrick, by selling that to me, allowed me to get my Grail stuff, which made some dreams come true. And then with Dr. Elra, I ended up like, you know, he's always wanted a flag. So it ends up he got it at a great price, you know. So it wasn't like I was like, oh yeah, dude, you're gonna pay $2,500 for the flag and another $800 for the Defiant. You know what I mean? Like I passed that extra, you know, those deals on to him as well. So
yeah,
there's a like that Kraken. There's a company. I think it's called Star Ace. They do like 1/6 scale and random stuff, but they have a line for the original Clash of the Titans movie, and they have like a Medusa.
Oh, do they really?
Oh, the Medusa would be cool.
Sideshow actually had a couple of them on sale recently, and I was like sitting there like ready to order, because that's like, I remember that I always used to watch that movie growing up with my mom.
I know, dude, that's such a great movie.
They even sell the owl. They have the owl, like a
Oh, no way. I love that little owl, dude. That little metal owl, yeah.
That was his name, like Bobo or something.
Yeah, Bobo, yep.
Yeah, they have a life-size one, and it looks all metal and everything. It's cool. I'm gonna get one eventually. I just haven't done it yet.
Jay Philly, I just want to know when my dreams are gonna come true.
Oh, it'll come, man.
Yeah, what you think about
make
what
his
you think
dreams come
about,
true.
you know?
Well, and like Collecting Havoc said, like, you know, when it comes to like selling used stuff, it's only worth what people are willing to pay for at the time. Just because, you know, you could have whatever, anything, you could have it. Just because it's sold for 10 grand to that seller doesn't mean the next one that comes up is going to sell for 10 grand. You got to find a buyer that's willing to pay whatever he's going to pay.
It's like Collecting Havoc just said, you know, things are only worth what you're willing to pay. Honestly, that's true. I mean, but if it means something to you and it's something that you love, you pay what you want, what you can afford. I mean,
look at those guys that dig up the dinosaur bones. Like, you know, like there's that one, I was watching that show. They had one T-Rex sold, you know. Well, they've been sitting on a T-Rex for like over 10 years because they think it's worth, you know, millions of dollars because the last one sold for that. Well, there's nobody willing to pay that now.
Pay that, right?
That's not, you know, it's really not.
Right. Yeah, and that's like such a good point. It's just whatever it's worth, whatever the person looking to buy it is willing to pay.
Yep, exactly.